Hi, good evening. I do apologise that it's gone up so late. I've and I haven't managed to get ready. Yeah, I was. Sharon, you're not first, I'm afraid. Bibby was first because he's wet through. Just got out the shadow. The hell's that all? You see, I've got tongue tied tonight. He's just got out the shower, as Bibby. So, Aztec Media, good evening. Noxie, hi. You'll just have to give me a moment because I'm tongue-tied. I'm in a bit of a whiz, bang, wallop, or whatever you want to call it. I better put my earphones in so I can hear what I'm actually saying. Bibby, no, he's just checking on. He's just carrying on as he normally does. It's on the phone for him for quite a while this evening. I get a bit worried because I might be using all his credit up, but I do apologise for my attire. I wasn't ready, and I'd forgotten I hadn't got it all up and ready to go, as they say. But Kelsey got onto me and said, "Get your finger out, get on, get things done, stop messing about." So,
big up to everybody in the chat. Let's bring some positive vibes to this space, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I could keep filling it up with stuff like that, couldn't I? So, there we go.
Massive shout out to Sharon. Massive shout out to Kelsey.
So, there you go. B, good evening. I don't know who I've said good evening to. I'm lost. Just as an update, because there isn't one. He did phone me this evening again, and he's just carrying on as he does. Nothing's happening. Just getting on with his life in his little cell. Poor little lad. I feel sorry for him sometimes. Good evening, Go. And V, hi. I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself. I've already seen or said hello. But again, I'll apologise. I wasn't ready. I'm still on a high and I'm doing things that is taking up my time. And I'm really sorry that I wasn't quite ready. And as you can see, I haven't had a shave. I haven't got my bow tie on. I've got a skanky old t-shirt, and it's not the usual. It's not the usual me, is it? Quite honestly, and I feel a little bit embarrassed that I'm not ready. So he's phoned you as well, Sharon. He phoned me. It's on ages. I thought I'd used all his bloody credit. But so Sharon, what kind of a joke did he play on you then? Oh, right. So just laughing. Thank you, Kels, for that nice comment. Yeah, I don't know. I don't seem to have a lot of time for some unknown reason. I haven't got myself into gear yet, but I will do in time. It takes me a little while to get going, I suppose. Evening, Clary.
Massive shout out to Clary.
Yeah, the divvy stick's still here in my drawer. It's there hiding. I can hear it knocking every so often wanting to come out. It hasn't been out for ages on that bloody stick or bat or whatever you want to call it. I call it a divvy stick. But yeah, Clary, I do occasionally get tongue tied and get the shout outs not quite right, but there you go. That's me. So I'm going to turn my head onto my other screen so I can actually see who's in the chat. Okay. So I'll start at the beginning and let's see if there's somebody I've missed. I don't think so. I think I've done quite well, actually. I love these comments. Yeah, so there you go. That's how Levi played a joke on Sharon. Right, I think I've seen all the things, but yeah, it's Paul here on a bloody high. Can't get down off this high. Been on it for what, 2 weeks, so we'll be getting there. I'll be coming down off it before long. Yeah, so what's everybody been up to, if anything? It's do you know, I've been so yeah, baby, I shouldn't be getting high, but I am. I'm walking on cloud 9. That's when I say high, that's what it is, cloud 9. It's that's where I'm at. I just need to get me timings in gear, and you know, so that I'm not doing everything on the same day or same hour, or do you know what I mean? I've just got to get my PA to work my life out. So anyway, I don't know if I said hello to Noxie, but I think I did. Evening, Noxie, if I didn't. Yeah, so put in the chat if what you've been doing, or you know what you haven't been doing, or what you're missing, or what you want to be doing, or dream. Put your dreams in, because you know, if you can dream it, you can do it. You know that, don't you? Yeah, baby, you've got it in now. Let's see if there's a comeback from that one. I'm not going to say it though, even though Bibby's put it in the chat. There you go. Knox is coming back. It's a fight back. Yeah, so I just apologise to Bibby. I haven't had a chance to look at any of your lives this week, and I normally set aside like Wednesday afternoons and stuff so that I can have a quick look around and about, see what's happening. But was on my Facebook yesterday, and this thing popped up saying friend, not Fred, friend request. Oh wow, Clary, that sounded good. Yeah, baby, I'll have a look. I'll have a look later. I've got nothing planned after this hour's up, but you never know. Things can change, as it has been every day this week. So, Clary, you've had a bit of a. What day was that? We went up this weekend. Oh, so you've been up to Kelsey's area, I presume. So where's the underground tunnels then? Where are them based? Never. Do you know? I've never heard of the underground tunnels. Is it warm enough to put washing out? Does it have? No, saying that it doesn't have to be warm, does it? Blowing, wind blowing, and it's not wet. All right, Clary, it's in Newcastle then. So that you didn't go to Kelsey's area, you were in the Newcastle area. Have I got that right? It's what's in the underground tunnels then? What's it all about? What do you see besides ghosts? Yeah, I presume it's haunted. Tank got one of those. Oh right, so that's why you was in. I think I'm getting mixed up here, but there you go. I'm not. Yeah, I'm getting mixed up, aren't I? I'm reading it wrong. Yeah, if there's a breeze, it'll dry the washing as long as it's not wet. Even if it's cold, it'll dry it. But just brings back a memory there of when I was young, and Mum used to do the washing start doing the washing on a Sunday morning at about Sunday. It was a Monday morning. On a Monday morning, she used to start about 5:30, 6 o'clock, getting the washing sorted, and then we'd have to go and put it on the line on after she got it all through the mangle and all that dried. And many a time I've come home from school on a Monday and the washing's out, and it's as stiff as a board because it's been bloody freezing all day. So you had to bring it in and then try and fold it up because it's frozen solid, and you had to crack it to fold it. And then Mum would come home and shout at us because nobody had brought the washing in at lunchtime. I was at school, but my older brothers weren't. Oh wow. I might put that on my list at some point. Go up to Newcastle and get in them tunnels. But like I say, I'll have to get my PA to sort out all the gear I'm meant to be doing, because my social calendar is getting bloody stuck. Not stuck, it's getting full. I don't really have a lot of time. We mistake the moon for the sun. Yeah, sometimes it's warmer out when the bloody moon's out than when it is when the sun's out. But there you go. It's one of those things. Okay, Sharon, thanks for popping in for a few minutes. Take care. Missing you already. Come back real soon. Take care because we care. Just I've got loads of those lines. I can't remember them all, but I've got loads. Missing you already. That's another one. Yeah. I'll be back. So Sharon will be back. There you go. Anyway, where was I? I think I went off on a tangent somewhere. My mind was going somewhere else. I was on about bloody washing, wasn't I? Back in the day, back in the 50s. Early 60s. Yeah. So come on then, tell me, the mini golf, is that in Newcastle? I'm trying to get my head in gear about who went where and who went what. So just let me see if I've got this correct. There was a bit of a get together in Newcastle. So Clary was in Newcastle. I get that, I think. Was Kelsey in Newcastle as well? Oh, yeah. So Kelsey's put, I came last night and was an embarrassment to Yorkshire. Why is that, Kelsey? Did you get pissed? Oh. Get into trouble for swearing now. Right. So we got Noxie, Kels, Sharon. That it? Is that all? Right. I think I'm getting the gist of the conversation here. I don't normally do. I'm normally a bit. I just normally ignore the bloody list there. Oh, right. So Kels wasn't drinking. It was just bad golf. I used to love golf. I couldn't play it now, but I used to love bloody golf. Oh, I could tell some tales about bloody golf back in the day. But they're for those kind of tales are for me, really, not to be shouted about. So Clary says I came joint second of last with Craig. I presume Craig is BC, but I could be wrong. Or I could be right. But, it's... if I get my policeman's head on, I can work things out in the end. That's why I have a pen and a pad. I write things down so that I can work it out later. But that's no good when you're live, is it? Can't be writing bloody stuff down and then trying to work it out. So anyway, I haven't done a great deal this weekend, except I've been on for the past week I've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 lives, and tonight makes it 8, and the other 7 lives have been long. When I say long, I mean bloody long. Took up half my night. Yeah, so anyway, folks, hit the likes. Noxie says hit the likes. Yeah, just remember the thumbs up. That's a thumbs up. Or if you want, a thumbs down. It all helps. It all helps the channel. It all helps me. It all helps Cheggs. Everything helps. Getting back to Cheggs now. As people know, I do upload his music for Friday nights. But those who listen to the music or watch his live things on a Friday night will notice I haven't had a couple up for a couple of weeks. But that's because I'm running out of stuff that I can download from his channel that everybody hasn't seen. You know, I've been uploading to my channel Levi members only streams on his channel, so knowing that most people won't have seen them, so that's why I haven't got any updates on the music. But I will be, because there is a few, but I was trying to spread it out so that we're not we've got stuff coming along, you know, up to when he gets his release. Bad eyesight. So there you go. Darts. Oh, I used to be good at darts. I don't think I could bloody pick one up and throw it now, quite honestly. I'd be hitting the wall. Unless, of course, you got a dartboard with a picture of that twat Starmer right in the middle of the board, and then I'd get a bullseye every time. I haven't eaten yet, Clary. I don't normally eat on a Sunday until after I've done tonight's live. I only eat once a day, normally. You know, I start about 8:30 in the morning and finish about 10:30 at night. That's why I'm... no, I can't think of a word. Anyway, when you live on your own, you can't be messed with Sunday lunches, can you? It's a bit of a balls ache. And besides that, because I'm an ex-army chef, when I cook, I feel as though I'm cooking for four. So I have to eat. Yeah, not like my daughter at home. But I'm not saying I don't like food. You know, I yeah. Well, Peter, yeah, either a dartboard with Peter Levy in the middle or Starmer, because Starmer, I don't think I've said hello. Good evening, Carlos. I don't think I've said hello, but there you go. Greg Scott, stop. Yeah, you see, I've got my words are splitting up there. Is that Greg or Greg? But there you go, stop. Hi there, didn't realise you were an ex-army lad. I grew up in the army. Dad was in the Black Watch for 22 years. Oh, over in Ontario, that'd be nice. I bet you it's bloody cold over there, though. But, yeah, Levi's not out yet. He doesn't come out till September. And once he's out, he'll be going live again, as he does. Well, we used to call them cooks in the army, but people call them bloody chefs nowadays. You're a cook, you're a chef. But there you go. I don't think I ever came across. I don't think I ever came across the Black Watch. Yeah, so I'm going to ignore that one there. That thing that's come up. Yeah, well, when I was a cook in the army, there was no such thing as bloody microwaves. Didn't know, never knew when microwave. Didn't even know it existed. But yeah, Weatherspoons, microwaves. They're all into microwaves nowadays. All these places like Weatherspoons and those type of places don't have to cook. It all comes from I don't know what you call a big warehouse or whatever, and they just stick it in a microwave. They might fry the chips, but that's about all they do. But yeah, I can honestly say the food. Well, when I was in the army, the food was good. We tipped out good food, wholesome gear. And nowadays, if you're in the army, you don't get army cooks cooking for you. You get I don't know what you call them besides dickheads. Anyway. Yeah, I loved my days in the army. I loved it. I loved every minute. I'm trying to recall if I ever came across any of the Scots regiments. My brother did. My brother was in Aden in the 60s. And he was with, if anybody knows the story about Aden in the 60s, my brother was attached to Mad Mitch's outfit. I'm trying to think of what they were, Mad Mitch's outfit, but they were a Scottish regiment. I'm just going to Google Mad Mitch and see what it comes up with, because Colin Mitchell was his name. Right. So he was with the Argyll and Sutherland Highlanders. So my brother was attached to the Argyll and Sutherland Highlanders in Aden in 1960 something. I can't remember the exact date. It could have been the early 70s, but I think it was the 60s. But yeah, if you don't know about Aden and those kind of days, just Google Mad Mitch and it'll give you a story of yeah, give you a story and a history of what he was doing in Aden when we were fighting. Aden's, what is it, Yemen nowadays. It was a British place anyway, back in the day, Wasn't the Commonwealth. I think it was part of the Empire, because we used to have one. Yeah, Greg, it's it's tough. It is tough coming out of the army and getting yourself into civilian way of thinking, because Um, I could go on for hours about how bad it was when you came out of the army into Civvy Street. You know, I didn't do 22 years. I did 10 years, and it was fairly difficult when I came out, because just to give you an idea, because I came out in December, I think it was 1976, I think, or maybe 75. I can't remember the exact time, but the first thing I had to do was go and sign on. And that was a bloody nightmare, because I went to, don't know if it was a labour exchange or job centre or whatever it was called. I went to give them my name and all that kind of crap to see if they had any jobs going. I got to the front of the queue and said, you know, I've come to do, and they said, oh, just go and sit and wait over there. We'll give you a shout when it's your turn. And I got there about 9:30 in the morning, maybe 10 o'clock-ish. And I was still sat there at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, waiting for somebody to shout me forward to say, you know, it's your turn, come up and whatever. Anyway, nobody called me, and my brother, my older brother, don't know, the one up from me anyway, he walked in, and he walks across to me and says, what are you doing? So I said, well, I'm sat here waiting to sign on. They told me to go and sit over there and wait. And he said, oh, you don't do that. I'll show you what to do. Anyway, he went over and sorted it all out, and I was straightforward. And he went, when we went home, he said, you know, don't be doing stuff like that. You know, get your mouth going, because they'll keep you pissing about in corners or whatever. Well, I tried to explain to him, you know, because I've just come out of the army, if somebody said to you in authority, you know, go and sit over there and wait your turn, you did. And of course, that's what I was used to. I was used to being told what to do. I wasn't allowed to think for myself or get my gob going. So that's where I learned the hard way. So, you know, it was a learning curve. So it was a bit difficult getting into Civvy Street from coming out of the army after 10 years. You know, and the other thing about my army career was I joined when I was 15. You know, so I'd only ever had people telling me, you know, what to do and not to answer back. So, of course, when I came out, went to Civvy Street, and I don't think I was out for a couple of months, and I was thinking to myself, I think I need to get back in, because I was, what's the word? It was a big word, institutionalized, you know. But I said, my brother put me in the right frame of mind, got me into the right things. If I had to go back, if I had to go back to any of the whatever you call them, government places, you know, job centres, stuff like that, doctors even, that was another one. He took me. He went with me, you know, for the 2 or 3 times, just to show me how it was done, you know, how to get things sorted and whatever. So he got me, and away I went. So I went from being an institutionalized young man to being streetwise. and it was my brother. I have to thank my brother for really getting me streetwise, because I could have been sat there in that bloody office for weeks. But there you go. Doctors was the same. You know, you'd go to the doctor, and back in the day, you'd go to the doctor to arrange an appointment. You say, I've come to make an appointment. Can you just go and wait a bit? And we're just on this case and whatever. You know, and you'd be sat there for bloody ages. Never happened when my brother took me. It was always bum. There you go. Yeah, there were, Greg, there was no support at all. And well, I'm telling a lie, really, because there was support, and it was through the WRVS, the Women's Royal Voluntary Service. They would be there for support if you needed it. Notted, hi, good evening. Well, I'm just reminiscing about my my days when I came out of the forces as an institutionalized young man into Civvy Street, where I had to try and get on with my life as such. But it was difficult. It was a hard time, and you know, I still do. I miss my army times. They were great times, great friends, and everybody had your back, basically. And I've had some good times. I had some good times while I was in the forces. You know, been all around the world, some fantastic places. Been to some shitholes, but I've been to some fantastic places. But, you know, I don't know if I'm rabbiting on, really. I don't know if anybody's bloody interested, you know, but as most people know, once I get on a subject, I tend to yak. I joined in 1966, and I came out in, I think, 70, the end of 75, or it might be the end of 76. I'm not quite sure, but I had a fantastic time. I loved every minute in the army. I didn't come out because I was kicked out or out like that. I came out. I don't know how to explain why I came out. 66, but yeah, World Cup year. I remember the World Cup well, Carlos. The afternoon of the World Cup, because it was on the radio. I don't know if it was on the TV, but I know it was definitely on the radio. And on that afternoon, the Saturday afternoon of the World Cup, I was serving teas and ice creams on the beach in Bridlington. I used to do a Saturday and Sunday afternoons when I was that age, selling teas and ice creams and things like that on the beach. I used to do, walk around with a tray with tea and coffee. We didn't do bloody coffee. Now I think about it, it was tea and ice creams, and I don't think we served sandwiches, but I can remember the tea really well because I had to carry 5 or 6 cups of tea. And they weren't in plastic things. It was all crockery stuff, And as I walked around the beach on the Saturday afternoon, and I can't remember what day it was, but I remember the afternoon. It was a hot day, and serving tea on the beach, and of course everybody on the beach had radios, and they all had radios on of the World Cup. So of course, as I walked around selling the tea, or not selling the tea, serving tea and ice creams and things like that, I could hear all over the beach the World Cup. So that was my World Cup experience of 1966. It was fantastic. I loved it. I don't think they've still got a pitch and putt in Brid, but they might do. I don't recall seeing one. They used to have one on the harbour top, I remember, back in the day. Well, back in the day. If that's the one you're on about, Knotted. But that's not there anymore. And it was crap anyway, quite honestly. You couldn't really call it a pitch and putt. It was a bit of old concrete in wiggly bits. It was crap. But yeah. So anyway, getting back to my selling tea and stuff on the beach, the person I worked for, if that's the right word. Yeah, the person I worked for was my, who used to teach me when I was at junior school. So I was, below 10, 11. And he was my teacher when I was in junior school. And we kept in touch. He was a fantastic teacher. He was absolutely cracking, and we kept in touch. And yeah, anyway, he asked me if I'd do a couple of days over the weekends for him, seeing as I'd left school. And I did. So, Clary, yeah, I was in Ireland as well. I did 2 tours of Ireland at a place called Castle. I was going to say Castle Howard, but it wasn't Castle Howard. I can't remember. It was called some castle anyway. That's where I learned to water ski, because this place we were at. Well, this place we were at the first time we went. I was in Northern Ireland. It had a great big lake, and because the lake was out of bounds to everybody except us, we could go swimming in the lake or whatever. And the engineering regiment I was with at the time decided to buy a speedboat with, the things to go skiing with, skis and ropes and all that kind of shit. So we would all go onto the lake to learn how to ski. That was the first tour I did of Northern Ireland. The second tour, we weren't allowed to do stuff like that because we were getting shot at and shit like that. Well, there you go. You join the army and you have the good times and you have the bad times. But there you go. It was, what else did we learn? First tour of Northern Ireland I did. It was fantastic. I loved every minute. We the cooks, chefs, cooks, or whatever, we all banded together and we bought a clapped out old car, and we painted it all up and whatever, and cleaned it all out. And it was now fantastic. It was a bit of an old wreck, really, but we painted it up and we called it a taxi. So we used to take, the cooks used to take the rides into town, you know, take the soldiers into town on an evening. When we were, I can't remember, I'm trying to remember the town we used to be able to go into. Glen something. It'll come to me. And yeah, so we used to run this taxi service, and what we used to do with any money that, you know, we didn't used to charge a lot. We used to charge enough to pay for the petrol and a bit of upkeep for the car. But saying that, we didn't have to pay much for the upkeep of the car because our own mechanics in the engineering regiment used to keep the car on form. It was never taxed, it was never insured, and we never got pulled once by the police. But there you go. Those were the days. Those were the days. But when you were saying about the sandwiches, you know, I've even though I was a cook, I still had to go out on patrols and stuff like that, you know. So my day would be spent, when I was in Northern Ireland, my day would be spent on a thing called 4 on, 4 off. So I would do a 4-hour shift in the cookhouse, and then a 4-hour shift on patrol, or, you know, whatever, those type of things or whatever, and then back again to a 4-hour shift in the cookhouse, then 4 hours off into kip. And it was like that every day. That was your day, 4 on, 4 off. So you were doing something for 4 hours, another 4 hours you're doing something else, and 4 hours kip, and then back up 4 hours into the cookhouse. So it was a 24-hour routine split into 4-hour shifts. So I could either be in the cookhouse, I could be out on patrol, I could be out doing vehicle checkpoints, you know, all those type of things. But we, the thing we never did was take sandwiches or teas that were offered from the Irish, because you never knew what was going to be in the bloody tea. But yeah, those were the days. Another thing we used to do, the first tour I did was in Northern Ireland, and that, I think that was in 1971, the first tour I did of Northern Ireland. That's when we did the taxi service. I learnt to ski, all those type of things. But it was a time when you used to get a pint of milk in a bottle, and the milkman used to deliver to the cookhouse, to our camp. He used to deliver about, I can't remember exactly, but it used to be something like 10 crates of milk a day to us. And all these squaddies we had with us, they were everyone wanted milk. Can we have milk? You know, can we have a milk? Well, you only had so much bloody milk for the cooking, and, you know, stuff like that. So you couldn't be handing out milk. So what we decided to do as cooks was we used to purchase milk from the milkman and sell it to the squaddies. And I think at that time it was something like 9 pence for a pint of milk. Can't remember exactly, but I know you weren't allowed to sell milk higher than a set price, and I think it was 9 pence. Could be wrong on the price. Anyway, it started off, we would get a crate of milk from the milkman to sell on, and it started up on one crate. And by the time we came to the end of our tour of Northern Ireland, we were going through something like 180 crates of milk a day. You know, we weren't when I say, you know, we were selling the milk or charging for the taxi, all the profits we made didn't go to us. It went to regimental funds. And what we used to do with the regimental funds is we used to purchase things like coffee and biscuits and things like that for when we went on exercise because we used to have to do being with the engineer regiment, we used to have to do a tour in Germany every year, November. Every year we did 4 weeks at Sennelager in Germany, and it was all in the field, you know. So we used to buy coffee and things like that for when we went on exercise, so that, you know, the lads could have coffee, a hot coffee on demand all day for them, or hot tea if they wanted it, but biscuits as well we used to buy. But again, we used to when we were on exercise in Sennelager, we used to get the German farmers used to come up and ask the lads if they would care to just drive through their field accidentally on purpose, so that they could claim for the crops in their fields, and then they would come up and give us loads of bloody food and, you know, keep us going, and cigarettes and God knows what. They made a bit out of it, but we certainly lived a better life for it. But yeah, regarding going back to the Northern Ireland thing, we used to have to do a weekly run from, the name of the place nearly come to me then, Castle something, where we were based, and we had to go to the other side of names in it. I can't remember the bloody name. We had to go to pick up the rations for the week in a 3-ton truck, and of course you'd have 2 of the drivers and you'd have 2 of the cooks in the back. And lots of times, you know, to get to where we had to pick up the rations for the week, there was only one way in and one way out, and you had to go across this bloody bridge. Big bridge as well, it was. And of course, all the Irish kids, because they were only kids, used to be at the end of the bridge there, waiting to stone us as we went past. But that was the worst it got, stones thrown at us. And when I say stones, I don't mean, you know, little stones. It was half bricks and, you know, shit like that. And that would happen every Wednesday afternoon, because we had to go every Wednesday afternoon. We had to drive through Armagh. That's just come to me now. That was a mean bloody place. But again, it's another story. Is my time in Northern Ireland. It was good fun, and I don't know how to explain that it was good fun. It was dangerous, but it was bloody good fun. It was cracking on a night when you could get in the armoured pig or the Land Rover and belt through the middle of Belfast with the blue lights flashing, going at a hell of a pace. No, you used to love it, you know, it's great. But vehicle check. The worst part of my time in Northern Ireland was vehicle checkpoints on the border, because it was a little bit dangerous. Been shot at a couple of times, never shot back, but been shot at a couple of times from across the border while we were doing checkpoints on cars and shit like that. But yeah, it was those were the days. Happy days. Loved every minute. Loved my time in Northern Ireland. Yeah, never shot at anybody, but never had the inkling to, really. And besides that, if you fired a bloody round in Northern Ireland, you had to fill in every damn. When you got back to barracks, they'd send you out with. It wasn't Galford Castle, mate. Next time I'm on, I shall I shall have had a look and see where it was I was in Northern Ireland. Anyway, when we went out on vehicle checkpoint, of course, you had your 2 magazines of 7.62 rounds, and when you came back, they checked them to make sure that you still had your 2 magazines and they both were full. And if they were empty, they wanted to know where the bullets had gone, why you fired them, and did you bring back the empties? As though you're going to, crackers, as though you're going to be shooting at people and then walk round afterwards and pick up all the bloody cartridges that you'd shot to prove that you bloody shot them. And besides that, they were made of brass. And of course, brass costs brass. So you had to bring them back. But, so I never shot anything. But I can remember once being on a checkpoint, I think south of Armagh it was somewhere, or maybe north of Armagh, I'm not quite sure, but it was on the border, and we were being fired on quite aggressively, to say the least. And we all got into the armoured pig, and you could hear the bullets hitting the pig, ping here and a ping there and whatever. And then the soldier who was in charge of the guns, I can't remember what guns they were, but they were bloody big guns on top of the armoured pig, and you climb up and get on the top and start welling away at these buggers shooting at you. And all these brass cartridges were showering us in the armoured pig, and you were picking them up so that you could put them in your pocket in case you had a time where you had to fire your bloody gun and you needed an empty. Or somebody would need an empty. But there you go. So, yeah, it was good fun. Sounds silly, doesn't it? But it was good fun. I had a good time. And second time I went wasn't that cracky. We were confined to the base. We weren't allowed out. We weren't allowed to go down into town to the pubs, so we couldn't use the. We couldn't set up the taxi service, and we weren't allowed to go on the lake anymore because the IRA had got used to knowing that the lake was wide open at points, so they could get on the other side of the lake and see our place. So it got a little bit shitty second time, but there you go. I don't know if I've answered that one, but it wasn't Galford Castle. But I shall come. It nearly came to my head then. I shall come up with it next week. Anyway, I've bladdered for an hour, and I've gone off total plot because it's Cheggs update. So to go on to the update, there's nothing to update you with really. His weeks are just going by as they do, and it's the same from one week to the next. He does his phone calls and answers his emails and things like that. So come to the hour, and I just want to say
big up to everybody in the chat.
And that's to everybody. I don't know who's watching because I haven't been watching me thing on the other screen. I was sat here chatting away, coming up with memories that probably bored everybody to bloody out their head. But, you know, if you've enjoyed it, just remember, thumbs up in the bottom. Thumbs down if you want it. I don't mind whether you put a thumbs up, thumbs down. If you don't like it, just put a thumbs down. And if you're new and watching, and I don't know how many's watching or been watching, but if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Hit the bell. I'm on every Sunday for an hour. It doesn't take much of your time. I'm on for an hour on a Sunday, and you know, anything can happen. As you can see tonight, anything can happen. And I've loved every minute. I love coming on. And hopefully, once I've got my PA's got my life sorted out and I'm not so tied up on other things, I shall get it back into gear. So,
please leave a comment. The stream's about to finish. Leave your comment. Refresh the page. Leave a comment. You can't leave one now. You have to refresh it as soon as it's ended. Please do that. Respect.
So it's a TTFN. Love you lots. Live long and prosper. And hopefully see you next week. Thank you. Oh, dickhead.